TowerCast podcast. My name is Juan Paul Flores, and I'm here with the gentlemen of the Tower Productions team. How's it going, you guys?
And gentle lady.
And the gentle lady, the queen of the castle, and the king is here. And then we have I'm the Joker, and let's see, the Jester.
The Jester.
Yeah. Let's see, we have the Butler.
Wow.
The Riddler. But how's it going, you guys? Today we have an awesome, we're at a different location. This is a different spot than our usual spots because today is going to be a very special episode.
We got kicked out.
We didn't pay our rent. But it's an origin story, and we're going to just dive into what TowerCast is, what Tower Productions is. But here we are, the team, the Avengers are assembled tonight. How's it going, you guys? So what brings y'all to the neck of the woods today?
Well, let's start off with Eric.
Eric? What's up, Eric?
People know, but just to refresh them.
Hey, Eric. As always. But yeah, I live here, so.
Wow. Oh, yeah, you do.
To be here. Yeah, this is my mom's yoga studio. It's yoga y algo más.
You guys don't see it, but there's like a lot of namaste all over the wall, so
Yes.
it's pretty cool.
Can you show us a few moves, Eric?
Perhaps.
Pay up.
Nice. So yeah, if you guys want to come to his house, it's at No, I'm Austin Young. Yeah.
Awesome.
This is yours truly, John Erik Castro, the actor and FPV pilot.
Professional.
And to my right, two young couple.
Or too
Too young couple.
Too young? Carlos de la Torre here.
I am Sandra Morales. I'm the voice of reason.
Yes.
Voice of reason.
Yes.
The voice
Jiminy
behind
Cricket.
Carlos.
I'm Jiminy Cricket.
So today's an interesting episode because
It's all about fun.
it's all about funsies today. It's all about passions and dreams and beer and
Mine's water.
and water
I
and
promise.
lots of nutrients being passed around today. Lots of nutrients,
We
but
just ate Chivo too. You guys
Yeah.
You just had a good dinner.
Michael De La O is the only lonesome guy over
yeah.
there, but he's always chilling. He's always having a good time.
The Big O.
De La O,
Oh, I feel it.
we're going to start off early. What's the word of the day?
Oh my God, I'm so happy you asked, because like the
Phrases
5
with-
minutes that I was like writing down was like I needed to get the definition of the word of the day. Okay, word of the day is cadence.
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 I've heard that.
Yeah, so the cadence apparently is the modulation in reading aloud as implied by the structure and ordering of the words and phrases in a written text.
It's like a rhythm.
Well, no, it's like the inflection of your voice when you're reading. So like, you know, when you're reading like children's books and like they all have like different voices, each of those is a cadence. It's like a beat in the story for like how you position your phrases.
Austin and Post, let's do the more you know.
The more you know.
Every time.
Yeah.
The word of the day.
Good stuff, De
I
La O.
like that. We should...
Yeah, you guys learned something. Wow.
Bravo.
The one time a week that I actually learned something.
Congratulations, Austin.
Thanks, man.
So I think we should just jump in and dive into this story of champions, if you will, champions, because we are champions here. I think
We're
you
having
guys
the breakfast of champions.
you guys have the opportunity to tell to tell people like the come up story. So I'm actually really intrigued because I have heard it when I met you guys, but it was a long time ago. But we should start with the.
Oh,
main guy.
wait. Can you also introduce the unofficial tower mascot that's joining us today?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that way.
Just in case y'all hear footprints being.
So the
passed around.
great Azul is in the room with us today. She's
The baby.
the baby here
baby.
joining us.
So sorry if you guys hear barking and scratching.
Yeah.
She's here.
Azul's pretty quiet. It's just Eric. Randomly barks.
So yeah, we're here. This is a special episode because we're talking about the tower origins, and it's fun because.
To the case, to the chase, and tell
No, I want to make a disclaimer. I think it's important to tell this story for two reasons. Because we're very proud of what we've accomplished in the last almost 4 years now. And more than that, we think that we had this conversation in the last episode where we're giving advice to new filmmakers. And the most important stuff we all agreed was like, you just got to do it. You just got to try it out. And,
Just Nike it.
Yeah, just Nike it and give yourself a shot. And that's what we did. And it's been working so far for us. So Shia LaBeouf.
Do it.
So that's why we, disclaimer, it's not tooting our own horns or anything like that. We just feel like it's important for people to know that if we can do it, anybody can do it, So cutting to the chase now. Tower Productions started out of intro to film class, really, in EPCC. Austin and I met there, and we have some interesting first impressions of each other in that class.
This guy used to wear khakis with an EPCC T-shirt. Like, don't take me the wrong way, but like,
Come on, yeah.
it's
That's a lot
like,
of pride.
yeah, like it's like I get it if like we're at a university, but we're at community college.
I
like,
used to work there, so I would go from my shift to class, and I was wearing my uniform shirt, and this guy thought this guy's weird for wearing it.
like, no offense, but who's proud to be going to a community college? Like,
Wow,
It's the best place to start.
it is the best place to start.
That's what it is.
But be honest, who goes out of their way to buy an APCC T-shirt?
They were free because I worked there. But anyways, but yeah, so that was kind of his first impression, and my first impression was like, it was funny because you're in a college class, you go around the room, and people are asking like, well, what are you doing in this class? Why are you so interested in film, or what do you want to do? And I was really novice. I just loved the history of film, and I wasn't really looking to be a filmmaker necessarily. I just up to that point I wasn't.
Wow.
No, I loved film, and I loved like collecting films, and I loved everything of the behind the scenes fascinated me, but I never thought to be a filmmaker. But the first impression thing's funny because Austin introduced himself, and he was like, he just like he's dressed now, pretty much wearing a Cardinals hat or wearing some type of baseball cap, and then like Under Armour, like sports gear, and his thing was like, oh well, you know what? I'm here because I want to direct TV. But like I want to direct like sports shows, like like TV,
Sports Center,
That's what he was going for.
Yeah.
So I was
talk
like,
shows and stuff like that.
I kind of like thought like, like that's very specific. Like that's very like I've never heard of somebody that just wants to go for that.
Meaning that guy actually put thought into it.
Yeah.
Generic
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyways, we met in this class, and it was literally just watching films and writing papers on films and stuff like that. So we got exposed to great films like Charlie Chaplin's City Lights. We got exposed to some great documentaries like Searching for Sugar Man. We just got exposed to great cinema, and we just we were in a group, so they sat us in tables. Which is awesome because now Michael from Tower Productions, he teaches in that same room where we met, which is pretty cool. Full circle.
Poetic.
Yeah. So
by the way, if you want to go to EPCC, take Michael Head as your professor.
Michael Head, he's a good professor. So we kind of just met there, and we had a group. It was Austin and I and two other people. Kat, who was like a costume designer. She does a lot of like what is it called? Like she goes to Comic Cons and does cosplay.
Yeah,
she's a very like cosplay person. And then Tim, who we haven't seen since then, but
fell off the earth after class.
Such a sweet guy, man. He was just a cool dude. But
I wonder if he listens to this and then he's gonna be like,
great.
"Hey, wait, I remember those guys." Yeah.
Back.
But we met, we talked, we went through the class, and we talked about, hey, it'd be cool to make a film at some point. Like, just it'd be fun to just shoot something. The class ended. And it wasn't for a few months where I thought it was my last class before I was going into UTEP. So from UPCC to UTEP. And I thought, I really love this. I'm going to try to go for it. So I changed my major as soon as I went into UTEP. I double majored in history and digital media production. So
You wanted to be a history teacher first?
yeah. That's kind of what I went for. And
Kind of blends in for sure.
Sure. Oh, that's what I figured. Double majoring in those two areas would kind of coincide with each other at some point. So I was at UTEP, and I was writing a script. I just kind of started writing a story that I was like, it's simple enough to shoot. At least I thought. And I finished the script maybe in like February. So Austin and I met in like August. We went through the class. Class ended in December. And then I reached out, I guess, like in February. I was like, hey, man, I wrote this little, 10, 15-page script. If you're down, like, we should get together and talk about it. And I don't know if you want to take it from there, Austin.
Yeah. So he sent me the script and everything, and then just kind of checked it out. And I remember we rescheduled like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, it was just hard to get together. And the moment we finally did, just told him I enjoyed the script and we should do it. And that's when I mentioned Erik, that I knew him since, well, I've known Erik since like elementary school, but
So you guys are all childhood friends, basically, in a way,
Well,
right? Or-
Well, them too.
Yeah.
You too? Okay, you guys
Well,
too.
yeah. I mean, in high school is when we hung.
That's when we started. High school was when we started like really get to know each other. But I already knew Austin since forever. We took a audio video production class with Miss Chavez, Oaxaca, and then
What type of class?
it was audio video production. So it's
High
like
school. You guys had that in high school?
yeah.
Jesus, Father Yerba, what the hell?
I had it too, but I never was exposed to that kind of thing.
Really?
I took it.
Yeah.
We
Man.
don't have that.
It was great.
But they met then,
And that's what we just we got
But
close.
in that class, you guys talked about possibly making a film, right? Because I think it's interesting to point out that Erik always wanted to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, I've always
Really? Wow. Cool.
been wanting to be a filmmaker since I was like a kid. Cause I don't know,
What movie made you want to be a filmmaker?
Jurassic Park
Really? Ooh.
for a fact.
Wow.
Because I was like, how do you do that? Like that's amazing. Like, and my mom was actually,
Like you go and get dinosaurs.
but like no, the thing is because I already liked movies, but Jurassic Park was like the one like I wanted
Yeah.
to tell stories like that, and my mom was the one that pushed me into that like career,
Really? Your
filmmaking.
mom?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
She told me that exists. I'm like, oh no shit. Well, I mean, as a kid, I didn't know. Like, oh really?
So
But-
you're going to in high school,
and then like I already knew Austin, but I didn't know he was like into that like production and stuff. But he's on a more technical things, like he knows how to edit, he knows his cameras and all this stuff. But me, I was green as hell.
Austin knows his ins and outs
Yeah,
of
when did you
editing.
start that? When did you get into the whole?
In middle school, actually, I don't know. In middle school, we used to have like a morning news thing, and that's when I like fell in love with like the TV stuff because I was doing all this stuff behind the scenes. Editing, I started in high school, self-taught in Final Cut 7, which I still love. By the way, there's a film that came out this year. I think it's Ad Astra
Oh, really?
that they edited on Final Cut 7.
That's cool.
not a great film at all, but it was.
Yeah,
that's
but I
really
think
cool.
it was Ad Astra that I was reading that they edited on Final Cut 7, which is the most recent, like in the past couple years that somebody has
And they
used
stopped,
it.
they stopped updating that one.
Yeah. They said that they had a lot of trouble with it, but that the editors were keen on using Final Cut 7.
That's cool.
But that's something that me and Daniel really like get into a lot. Like we
Another
get that
editing power.
nostalgia with because
What did you guys absorb from those times then? Like just from like your guys' bonds and like
I think with Erik, it was funny because in high school we did a couple like competitions, and to this day Erik's not very technical. Erik's more like, do this, do
Visual,
that.
creative.
Like he'd be like, I want you to put that there, and then like Erik, like I just had a shorthand with him at the time, and I knew exactly what he wanted. But it's sometimes Erik just didn't know how to put it to words what he would want. So we did like competitions in school. We made little videos and stuff like that. And after high school, Erik ended up going to NMSU, and I stayed here to go to APCC. And it always just turned into like, yeah, dude, let's meet up sometime. Let's just shoot something, like just to kind of pass the time. And we kept saying we were gonna do it, and we never did. But once Carlos brought the script to me and we talked about it and sat down, I was like, dude, I know exactly who we need to get in on this.
Yeah.
And so when I messaged Erik, and at the time Erik had already came back from Las Cruces and everything, and he wasn't going to NMSU anymore at the time. So it, yeah.
What
was
want to
the-
talk about that a little bit, because I think that's important to your story.
Yeah, like, well, I went to NMSU for digital filmmaking, to major in that. And at first, I had a lot of fun. I did learn a lot from those creative media classes, like CMI.
CMI.
Yeah.
Creative media.
I
Institute,
took script writing, and I took storyboarding and, just cinema 101, history, blah, blah, blah. And as the years went by, or like a couple years later, I started taking other classes, like, requirements, like science and just other stuff. And they stopped giving me classes from creative medium. And I just started feeling like, the hell am I doing? So it was already a bad start. I was in a bad place. And then I felt like I wasn't going anywhere,
with the film stuff.
with the film things, because I already wanted to get hands on, because I keep hearing people like, just do it and get a camera and talk to people. And I always wanted to. I never knew anyone who was interested in that. I had friends, like, they would just say, yeah, like, we'll help you, but like,
Offer to help you
They
out,
would
yeah.
offer me help, but like, no, like, they didn't know. I need to know the right
or maybe
people.
maybe more than that, they didn't care about cinema the way you cared about it. They were
Right.
just like, we're buddies.
they're
we'll
like
help you.
they're the people I want to show films to,
Right.
So yeah, it was just a dark spot, and I was already I was hopeless already. So I thought I was done. Like, you know what? I think this is not realistic, and I just need to do something different. So I went back to El Paso, and I was just stuck in a rut. I was just partying and all that stuff, and then here comes Austin. I don't know, out of the blue. Like, he's like, "Hey, I know some guy. Like, he has a script. Are you interested? You still want to make a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down." Yeah, but cool. I thought it was gonna be one of those where like we always try to get together, but it never happened.
I was gonna ask,
that has happened before.
What was the moment you guys realized like, oh, actually we all like melt together pretty nicely?
When I met Carlos, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think that I was going to talk about. So we met. To this day, our usual meeting place are Village Inns. We just love meeting at Village Inn. I don't know what it is, but Austin sponsor us, please. Yeah. Austin and I first met out of Starbucks, and when we met Erik, when he's like, "Hey, I know this guy. He's good with cameras." Oh, the baby. He's good with cameras. He's good with shots. We should really bring this guy in. I was like, "Yeah, of course." So we met at a Village Inn, and it's interesting because again, first impressions, like Austin didn't tell me anything about Erik. He didn't tell me how he looked or what kind of guy he was. So I know this guy. He's cool.
Well, whatever. I did describe to you because me and Erik used to work on a Telemundo show in high school on an internship, and I used to tell him like, dude, Erik used to get like on ladders and on the ground to get like these crazy shots. And like
and
this guy would like
impress me. Like
this guy would like, for example, you see this table here. Erik would like crawl underneath with the huge ass like TV cameras that we have, and he would like crawl underneath and get these crazy shots. And that's what I told this guy to sell Erik on him, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that definitely impressed me. But in terms of like what he looks like or what what he's into and stuff, so he walks into Village Inn, and I remember clearly he had a leather jacket on. And he had papers in his hand. So he walks in and he's like you see Erik and you first see him and he's like this tough rocker dude with long hair, leather jacket. Yeah, Exhibit A. And he sits down and he like shakes your hand like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Erik," and all excited and happy and giddy. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, what's up?"
Well, I don't know about giddy, all right?
Well, we're a little bit giddy, but I think it's part of the reason that you're saying it was like a new chance for you. Like, I'm excited to get into this, and you could see that. So he sat down, and in his hand, he not only did he have the script, but he had storyboards already. Yeah. He had storyboards, and he was like, "Hey, man, like, I don't know what you're thinking. This is what I kind of see." So our first film, the script was to a film called Sun City Lights, which you can see on YouTube. Don't judge us on that film.
Please don't.
But it was very ambitious. I think at the very least, like Erik says, we all thought it was going to be like this quirky little film that, but it turned out to be so much more than that, like both in story, and we were very ambitious with locations and with camera. And
do you think that desperation like pushed you guys, like, because you guys, well, you wanted to make a movie, you obviously wanted to make a movie, and then Carlos just already had like the script stuff?
I don't know if it's desperation. It was just the way I saw it was just that this is my last chance to get on the boat, So I took the chance and I got on it, and like the way Carlos spoke and everything, because it's the first time I met him. He seemed like he knew his shit. So I'm like, he gave me. It's the first time anyone has given me a script, like me, like a script, because I've written scripts, but either unfinished or whatever, and I didn't know the right format,
Format is
like my way of telling a story was just storyboards and like drawings and just little notes on the side,
Well, you're in good company, man. That's how Scorsese started.
But
he would just write pictures,
and then he handed me, and I thought, you know what, this is good. I mean, of course, it's not like Oscar, Scorsese
not in the
story, but it was a simple story. It was likable, and then like, what, anyone could relate to it. I did it for a fact. But
it's interesting because he I think he said he brought the script, and maybe he had told his friends about it, or his friends had seen it, and his friend Eddie, who is now our composer in Tower. Austin and Erik brought him in, and he says that the first thing he said about the script at that meeting was like, a buddy of mine who's a musician, he teaches music, was like, read the script and was like, "Why are you guys writing a story about me, man?" Like, he totally related to that, which I was like, we're onto something. Like that's okay. We're onto something. From there, man, I think it was just planning, and we really got into it. And I bring in Sandra's here. You never really seen Sandra on the podcast episode,
but she does a lot.
She does a lot.
She's very hardworking.
But it's interesting, or it's important to bring her into this story because Sandra and I have been together for almost 8 years. So she was with me through that whole journey.
Show off the ring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The spine.
Right.
That's where all the budget went.
That's where all the budget.
That's why we haven't made a feature film.
No, that's the investment.
That's the investment. No, but she was with us through that journey, and not only that, but Sandra in her younger days, right, would do
her Billy Wilder days.
In her Billy Wilder days, she did a few like modeling. How do I put this? They were
really
modeling shows, like pageants, like beauty pageants, and so she knew. Yeah. But she knew that world, so I thought, well, you know what, it'd be interesting to bring her in for costuming and makeup. And yeah, at least the first film for sure, first half of the Tower 20, like Sandra was there helping us out until she went back to school and started getting busy with other stuff. But she's always been there in that journey, so I think it's interesting perspective as an outsider type of thing to kind of see in.
Was that
sure.
something you had in mind in the back of your head? Like, I need to assemble a team, basically. Like, I need to find Tony
Stark
yeah,
stuff.
you know.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Would you want to Ed Wood, driver?
Yeah, because when I started at UTEP and I was barely bringing a script to Austin, the first UTEP classes are like getting familiar with technical equipment and stuff like that. That's where they approach it, and they make you make either like commercial videos, or they make you make informational videos, like stuff like that, just to get your feet wet. And I remember the first thing I did was I was like, well, you know what, this should look cinematic. So I created the Tower logo, this one, the one you see here, just like, I don't know what we're gonna call it, just call it Tower Production, so that it looks professional. I think that was just my brain, like, so it looks professional. I created it on Premiere, like, just kind of threw it in there. And when I brought Austin the script, like, it was that type of situation, like, hey, I think we can do something with this. I think we can assemble a team, and it was just us three in the beginning, really.
You brought in your two other buddies.
That's right. For Sun City Lights, they're kind of doing their own thing. I still keep in touch. Saul and Manny, shout out to you guys. They were friends from back in the day. We had a band together, so we were all in a band together. Saul was really good with. Saul used to record our demos and stuff. So I thought, well, he can do sound. Yeah. He knows how to do sound. We'll bring him in for sound. Manny was just always available to help and be creative and give us creative solutions. So he came in. But it was interesting to kind of just say, hey, well, this guy's good at this. Let's put him that. Like, I don't know how you felt, Eric, but I remember when you came in, Eric was like, well, yeah, man, I'll do anything. I'll help out with this and that. I was like, no, you're going to be the DP. And I was still learning the lingo. I was like, no, you'll be the director of photography, dude. Like, you. And I think that's the first time anybody's like told you, like, no, you're not going to be a camera guy. You're going to be a DP. You're going to be in charge of visually what this film is going to look like. Austin, when he came in, Austin was like, I just want to edit. That's what I'm good at. I don't want to do anything else. And when I got to know Austin, I was like, no, you're a producer. You're going to be a producer. You're going to be producing this film, and you'll be the assistant director because you can organize this whole thing.
Which he is really good at.
Yeah.
I think the 2-day challenge showed that.
Oh, sure.
We've gotten better, so.
We've all gotten better at our thing, but I think that's what we could talk about where we brought Castro into the picture. Because we got to work on this film and all the logistics and how we would do it. What's cool about this film is it's a story of, I guess it's a story of making decisions and how one decision could affect your life. It's a story about a musician in El Paso who graduated college and he studied music. So he doesn't know if he wants to play and be a musician the way he's always dreamt, or just be a music teacher and just go into the rat race.
Going through the motions and stuff.
So his best friend, who Castro plays,
Which, by the way, shout out to Isaac.
Shout out to Isaac.
Who was the main lead in the film.
He was the lead in this. I met Castro in the class at UTEP. I don't know if you want to take it over from there, Castro.
You know what? What my first memory of Castro is?
I want to hear more from you.
He was coming back from Miami, and he sent us an audition on the plane.
I did. That's true.
Because you're coming back from a film festival, I think, from your brother's film.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's my first memory of Castro.
I met Carlos in the video editing class, and the first thing I thought of him was he's very structured. He took initiative of a project we were doing, and I remember he used to talk about, I'm writing the script and thinking about you. Maybe doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Daddy.
He's always thinking about you.
So I remember we finish the class, or well, that was the next class? Then?
I think we were still in the class, like, cause it wasn't editing. We did editing too. We did an editing class later. It was a camera technology, or it was a.
Was it the systems one?
Systems, the systems, informational systems, or something like that. And you introduced yourself as an actor.
I'm not like that.
No, you introduced yourself as an actor, so right away I was like, all right, this is the guy.
Hey, you're not an actor. You're an actor.
You're a thespian.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, I remember he said that he finally picked me to be in the movie, I guess, and
Finally.
Well, I think we
had to
talked about it. We talked about acting and what you've done and what you want to do.
I think I showed off my film to you guys. I was showing.
Definitely El Sueño. Shout out to your brother too, Humberto.
Yeah,
And
check
So you can watch on Prime.
Yeah,
Amazon Prime.
you guys have a chance.
feature film premiered at Bassett. I mean, it was a big deal in that time. In that time frame, it was a big deal in El Paso for sure.
What was the vibe like then at that time? Because like you guys always talk. Well, I mean, for me, like as an outsider, I always thought like El Paso was a film thingy, but was it not as like? Was there not as much like films being made here?
Oh, dude, it's definitely exploded in the last 4 years,
Yeah.
like massively.
What was it like?
I'm
back
thinking
then?
because I really didn't know people.
I think back then, like from what I can remember, it was maybe 3 or 4 companies that I can think of. But now there's companies like on every corner now, or not even companies, but there's people making movies.
You know what
now.
motivated us? I
What's
think.
your guys' like mountaintop to get? Like,
Well,
you know,
what's definitely just to finish a short film, dude,
Yeah.
just to get past that plateau. And in terms of the community in El Paso, what interested us was that we were exposed to a very closed off community. To be honest, we took a couple meetings with some of the companies around town. It was like a collective where filmmakers were coming together for the film tax incentives that Texas was really trying to push, and El Paso was really trying to push. And we met with people. Hi. So we
I think
met.
Azul has something to
Yeah,
say on
she's-
this.
Yeah, man, she got really close with Sandra real quick.
She's like, what's up, dog?
So we met with them, and maybe everybody has their reasons, but we just felt like they were very closed off to us because we were the new guys on the block, and they kind of felt like, you kids are just starting out, man. Like, what are you in this meeting for, type of thing.
Yeah.
So
That's the vibe
so
we
that
get.
really it could have turned us off. Could have been like, oh, I guess we're not meant for this. But it motivated us to not be like them. It motivated us to be like, hey man, anybody that wants to work and learn, and if there's anything we can teach them, or there's anything we can learn from other people, like let's do something about this.
Exactly.
And Sun City Lights, I feel like came through that. So
What's the biggest lesson you guys learned from that? Like just
I think the biggest lesson we learned was what the biggest advice we give to people today, which is just ask.
yeah,
Just ask for favors. Go to a local company. Ask,
Worst they can
can
say
I
is
film
no.
here?
True.
Can we use this? Can we use that?
yeah.
That was the biggest lesson we learned, and that's the biggest tip we give now. And
So it's an interesting
Yeah.
ambition because Sun City Lights. Anybody who does their first short film, typically you kind of take the Rodriguez approach and you do everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't take that approach. Maybe Erik did at one point when he was kind of working on films, but it was just like Sun City Lights was like, okay, we have a team, we have a cast, let's go ask for these locations. So Sun City Lights, if you go back and watch the film, I think it's like the very first thing that's posted on our YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It has a bus station because this main character is going to take off to Austin because his friend has this opportunity for him.
Mm-hmm.
It has various domestic, like a house, apartment. It has backdrops of Austin, Texas, a whole nother city.
there's a club in there. Was it Anton's? Or?
It has, like a blues club in there. And so all that stuff is kind of big, man. Even like, especially if it's your first short film. And I think that's one thing we're really proud of.
So I feel like you guys unintentionally learned lessons, huh?
We
Like-
went crazy ambitious on this first film, which I think in a way it's good because
It taught us a lot.
we went all.
It gave you guys like confidence, like okay, we actually do have a good team, and
Yeah.
we're actually work
and,
well together.
because
Because that's pretty rare.
We
to find
for
people
the
you
first
just
short, like
yeah,
the first movie
to
I ever
click with
told,
people.
we got by with like things we never thought we'd get by. Like when we, for instance, we shot at this bus station, and they lent us a whole bus to our like a traveling,
Like a Greyhound.
like a Greyhound.
Oh, really?
Yeah. By the way, we went to Greyhound first, and they shot us down, so we went to the next best thing.
Oh, I hate Greyhound.
Yeah, but
Greyhound. No shout out to Greyhound.
yeah, we kind of went.
Greyhound.
No, screw
Keep
Greyhound.
saying their name.
They lent
the
us
hell?
a bus, man. They let us shoot in their station. They like to the point where we had a shot inside the bus where the bus was pulling out of the station, and we had to pull out, and then
Which is key that we really didn't need.
yeah, man, like they let us use the bus coming out of the station, coming back in, reversing, getting 2, 3, 4 takes of that, blocking
No way,
traffic.
really?
Oh
Oh,
no,
wow.
no, they blocked traffic for us.
Really?
It was insane, dude. And then I think just in that process, we were learning how to produce. So I was on the phone with like people in Austin. It was a weird thing. So I met Gary Clark Jr. at a concert,
Oh,
right?
really?
And I was a big fan. I am a big fan, and he was in town at Tricky Falls, man. Shout out to Tricky Falls.
Oh, that was that one place downtown, right? I hear a lot about.
It's not around anymore, but it was a cool little club, and
now it's a church.
now it's
Pray
a
for your
church.
sins away.
Yeah, but yeah, Gary Clark Jr. was in town. I after his show, he was by his tour bus, and we got to talk to him. I took my guitar so he could sign it.
Yeah, cool.
And on my guitar, it's like a Austin blues legend, Jimmy Vaughn. So he saw that and he was like, "Hey, this is Jimmy Vaughn's signature." And he was my mentor growing up and all this
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
So we got to talking, and I told him basically like, "Hey, I'm working on this film, man. It's kind of about blues musicians who are trying to chase their passion."
That was cool.
And he was
Loud
like,
noise.
he was nice enough to say like, "Oh, that's cool, man. Like, let me know if I could do anything for you. I'm based in Austin."
That's cool.
And he's big, man. He's a Grammy Award-winning artist.
Grammy
He's,
Award.
you know. And I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, just let me know."
You're like, what? Really?
So I was able to get in contact with
Probably
him.
like, oh, it's just another kid. Yeah, sure. Just hit me up.
I reached out, and he was on tour in Europe when we started shooting. But he's like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you remember the El Paso show. My opening act, Even the Exiles. They're a really cool band. You know. I don't remember if you remember them." I was like, "Yeah, they're actually pretty great." He's like, "Shoot her a message, man. Her name's Eve. This is her info." So we got in contact with her and said, "Hey, if we were ever able to make it out to Austin, can we shoot, one of your concerts? Can we just get some background stuff?" And she was originally in the script. I had Gary Clark Jr. written into the script,
Yeah.
and then when he was like, "Ask Eve," I rewrote the script and put Eve in there, Even the Exiles, and I sent her the script, and Eve told us that the biggest thing that got her to say yes is that her name was in the script.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
she gets to play herself and stuff.
yeah, so she was like, "Hey, look, we're having the show in Antone's, which is a legendary blues club in Austin. It's people like James Brown, Muddy Waters, these awesome blues artists have played there." Yeah. And she's like, "If you can make it out to Austin this Wednesday night, we're gonna be shooting.
Sounds like a lot of things went right. Sounds like you guys.
So I got that.
A lot of things could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing went wrong.
No, definitely.
I mean, obviously,
definitely
stuff goes
it did.
wrong, but nothing tragic. Yeah.
I don't know. Let me ask. You were able to see this on an outside perspective while we were getting all this together. Did you notice any stress? Did you notice any?
Well,
Tea.
Like,
Spill the
boy.
tea. Spill the tea.
yeah, all of you guys were stressed. You guys, I felt like you guys were, I saw that you guys were overwhelmed. Like, this was like the big shot. You guys are like, oh, damn,
here?
yeah,
Damn.
like, for real, it's gonna happen. So,
But how did you feel? Like, how did you? Do you remember meeting Austin and Eric? Do you remember and costume?
yeah. I think it all started when you told me, hey, babe, I took this class that I really liked. And since I'm graduating, I think I want to double major.
And then you're like, "This is fat guy in my class."
And then you were like, yeah, I want to do history and digital media. And I was like, what is that? Like, that's not going to work out, babe. Like, you.
Really? Really?
No. But I was
No, you're being
like,
honest.
what is that? Like, what do you mean? Like, and then he was like, what's like movies? And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I was like, I could like totally, because whenever we go to the movies, it's something else. It's
commentary guy or
No, I don't think I'm commentary.
That was the bad guy.
you want the honest truth?
That's the plot. What's going on?
He's like, okay, so the movie starts and he's like, oh, Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, no, this guy did this and then this, and I'm like, babe, I'm trying to watch the movie. No, but it's because watch, look, this guy did this and then, and then
Carlos is like, he stands up, projection is possible.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, bro.
But I do miss him when he doesn't go to the movies with me. I'm like, oh.
Aw,
Right.
now you miss his
Oh my
commentary.
God. Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
But so yeah, I remember meeting. I think you told come with me to the meeting to meet Austin. This guy.
Was that the first time I was there?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say right now how I felt.
Was that
it.
the time? The time that I met Austin there?
No. No. I met them at Village Ink, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it was weird. I was like.
What did you think of Austin when you first met him?
I was like, oh, he's no.
I feel like this was more serious than I was making it out to be. Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought you were just like joking. I thought like, okay, but if he wants to pursue that, yeah. I mean, you have my full support, of course. But yeah, when I met him, I'm like, oh, so
She was like, "Hi, babe, be careful, he's gonna eat you."
a mí me va a comer. No, I was just like, oh, like to me, like right away, I was like, oh, he's into sports and
Yeah, that's what I thought.
and like he knows anything about sports. And when I met Erik, I was like, oh damn, he's scary. Like,
Well, that guy's satanic.
Like, yeah, but which is weird because.
My mom told me about guys like that.
if you don't know, like, if you hang out with us and you'll know, Erik and Sandra are like besties. Like, they get along really well. It's crazy.
So, at what point did you guys feel that you guys were like solidified? Like, at what point did you guys feel comfortable then? What was the day where maybe it was like a shot, or maybe it was a
Comfortable with each other, or like knowing what we know?
in general, just uncomfortable with each other?
Yeah, Austin. And then one other
The
thing I
Austin
remember
trip.
what Castro told me when we were filming at the apartment. He was like sitting on the couch and we are getting set up, and he was like, "Damn, this is like professional." Even though we were shooting on like two little, like a DSLR and like a camcorder, and he was like, "This is like legit." I was expecting you guys to have like iPhone.
A cell phone,
You
yeah.
guys had a monitor and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had ordered a little bit of equipment, I think, but I'd have to say the Austin trip for me was a big solidifying moment. Like I was saying, we got through these hurdles. We got through these local hurdles of getting a bus stop, getting locations, and then when this Eve Monse was like, make it out to Austin. This was on a Sunday or a Monday, and I told these guys, hey, we got it. Like, we can go shoot in Austin at this club and this stuff. And I mind you, we all had jobs, we all had stuff we're doing, and I was like, we should go. We'll travel Tuesday night, be there, shoot all day Wednesday, and then we come back Thursday to get back to work, because I think we all took like a day off work. And Austin came in with like hey, my dad has points at this hotel, like rewards. Like, we'd only have to pay a little.
I think we were thinking about just sleeping in the van.
Yeah, let's sleep in the van. And then I guess he talked to his dad, right? And your dad was like, well, use the points. And then I remember Castro. This was a big moment with Castro. We had never traveled together, right? So we took off on a Tuesday night. Oh, boy, was that trip fun. We took off, and we're driving. This is the first time I had ever been to Austin from El Paso to Austin. And to me, I thought, we're going to East Texas. I go to Dallas all the time. I have family out there. It was like, it'll be just like the Dallas trip. Like, just little towns in between, and we'll stop to put gas. From here to Austin, there's nothing. It's fucking empty on the road. So I was like confident, like, we'll be good. We'll put gas here, and then we'll find another gas station along the way, just like any road trip.
I think we stopped somewhere because we had to use the restroom, and then
It was like a sketchy gas station, like a 50s gas station. You guys remember? It was like
Yeah.
deep in the
we took
in
an
the
exit. It was a
fields.
couple miles in, and then
Someone
I remember.
called that
And I remember Erik was telling you, he was like, "Dude, put gas," and you're like, "No, we're good."
We'll be good, because it was a sketchy gas station. So I was like, I don't know how to feel about this place. Like, we'll get the next one. So it becomes night.
Yeah, because I told you my usual thing when I go travel, when it gets halfway, I'll just stop at a gas station and
Right.
fill up.
Yeah.
And I already saw the gas tank; it was already halfway. And like, yo,
I think it was a little over halfway. I think we're
No,
still
it
good.
wasn't. It was
Yeah,
already-
because
it
was
was
still
already half,
It
because
was
then I
still
told
during the
you.
day. It was still day, and when we started running out of gas, it was like dead at night.
but I told you because like, hey, when you get a chance, when it gets halfway, stop at a
Yeah.
gas station. And we passed all these gas stations in the beginning, and then suddenly like. dude, you were like on empty.
Yeah,
like,
no. Well, the thing was, we're like heading. We stopped at this rest stop, and the rest stop had a map, right? And it tells you what the next town was. And Austin was on his phone. Mind you, we didn't even have signal. So the problem was, you'd usually take the main freeway to go to Austin. Austin was like, there's this other short route.
The main way is to like go through San Antonio and then you go up through San Marcos.
And Austin's like, there's this little shortcut. And we're like, oh, well, fuck it. Like, it's a shortcut.
Get there sooner.
It's like rural road. It's like a little weird little thing with nothing in between. So Austin was in the front seat with me. Eric and Eric were in the back seat doing God knows what. And
we couldn't see back there. It was dark.
Yeah. No, they were watching a movie, right? They were on their phone watching a show or a movie, right? Right. They had, under the blankets. And I'm looking at Austin. I'm like, and he looks at me. He knows exactly what I'm thinking. Like, yo, we're gonna run out of fucking gas.
And then so we turn off the air conditioner. These guys in the back.
He's like, yo, it's hot back here. What's going on? I was like, and we didn't say anything. We're just like, oh, yo, chill, just chill.
They were like, it's hot back here. We're like, oh yeah, just we'll turn on the air right now.
Yeah. We're just like trying to save gas.
Rolling the hills.
Rolling hills. Yeah, yo, it was crazy. And then
we start looking
Austin,
up like,
you were on their phone looking.
I was on my phone, and
there was
then
no signal. For a good long chunk, there was no signal.
And at some point, we were like, that's it. We're going to run out of gas. We need to start looking up tow companies.
AAA.
Something. Like, we're going to run out here.
God knows how.
I had no idea, man.
Nah, they were just chilling.
I kid you not. The needle was on empty.
And that was already past empty.
The needle was on empty.
How'd you guys get there then?
For a good, 20 minutes, it was on empty.
And we finally came across a gas station. It, out of nowhere, dude. Like, it was...
It was a Stripes.
The gas station wasn't even open, though. He had to come back.
Yeah, right.
It was like a Stripes, I think, that we found.
It was just random. A random gas station. It was weird. But we made it, and these guys didn't know shit.
And they get off
there,
like nothing.
We get there, and we're like, holy shit, that was so close. Me and Austin were shitting bricks, dude. And then these guys were like, all right, let's go get some chips and shit. Let's do something. We put gas. It's like, all right, we made it, dude. I think we were 3 hours from Austin at that point. We were pretty close.
And I remember the van had a 16-tank gas tank.
Yeah.
And it took 18 gallons.
We would have made it. So
Just neutral the whole way.
we get there, man. We check into the hotel, and this is where I'm telling you that it was interesting to see Castro. He's always very helpful in the sense that we got to the hotel, and so the hotel typically will cost you what, $100, $200 a night, and we were only gonna pay $50 or something because of the
$40 or
points.
$50.
And we were all like, all right,
It
wait.
was a nice hotel. It was like one of those Hilton ones.
Yeah, it was a Hilton. It was nice, and we were all, plus thought we weren't that close, so we were all like, hey, well, let's all split it, guys, or who wants to put in what? Castro comes out, and no, I got it, guys, don't worry about it, and took care of the hotel. Yeah, you did that.
You did that.
He took care of the hotel right off the bat, and we're like, you sure did? Hey, I got it. Let's go.
You guys should have brought me that six-pack.
So they bartered you
How did you
up, and then
convince him, Eric, in the back seat?
I know,
How did
but I
you
said,
convince him to pay to the hotel?
Oh, no.
What was going on back there that he wanted to pay for the night?
Before we go any further, I want to know, what did you think when I told you, hey, I'm going to Austin? We're going to go shoot this movie in Austin. What did you think?
I was mad. No, I was just like, really? You really have to go? You're really going? And yeah, and I'm like, well, how are you gonna get there? I think I'm more of a person like realistic. De veras vas a ir, con qué vas a pagar, qué van a hacer, who's going, where are you staying, what are you shooting, are you taking, con quién vas a ir?
Like to piggyback on that, I remember my dad telling me well, why the hell are you guys gonna go over there? Why can't you shoot what you need to shoot here? There's no reason for you guys to go over there.
That was my logic too. I'm well, can't you do it here? There's bands here. Hold on, it's my turn.
We warned her before, guys. No, get out of here. We warned her before that he's very mic happy.
I don't even have the balls to do that.
No, so yeah, I always thought why
it's
can't
my
you do
time
it
to shine
here?
now.
Nighttime.
But getting to know all of them by this point of doing
We're well into production.
It was the last thing to shoot before the reshoots.
Yeah.
It was very from an outsider's perspective, because I'm not into film like how you guys are, and I'm a
But you are.
girl, and
Oh,
it's different.
wait, you're a girl?
Yeah, it was very awesome to see that from the outside, to see that you guys sin saber nada, without knowing anything, without having any prior, I guess, connections, advice, money.
So, like, since you think realistically, did you think that they pulled it off Like, they did the best with what they had, right?
With nothing.
Okay.
So it was like, going back, it was amazing to see that from the outside, like, from every single personality from them. I was like, wow, he took initiative of putting it together. He did an amazing job at acting, like, wow. He supported Carlos, and he shot the thing.
Awesome. Dang.
Like, you know, it was like,
real quick.
That trip was collective. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I called and made the calls and got shit together. Austin got us a place to stay, and logistically, how are we going to map this road trip out? Erik was there. Erik wasn't even in any of the scenes.
Erik didn't even need to be there.
No. We wrote a scene for you to be in it.
Oh,
You
wow.
weren't supposed to be there. Our main
didn't
actor
even have to go. You took the initiative to want to go.
The main actor, Isaac, couldn't make it. He had to work or something, and Castro was like, "Yo, I'll go. I'll help out. Like, go. I'll help. I'll carry tripods or whatever we need to do. Like, let's go finish this movie." And you know, Erik was working at a gas station at the time. It was a tough time to get off work, and it was just a pain in the ass just to schedule around his work schedule. And we all collectively came together and we're like, "Let's do this." And you know, we get to the hotel, we sleep. Next morning, we wake up, nice breakfast and everything. It was a nice hotel, you know.
Y'all slept. I didn't.
Oh, tell that story, Castro.
Dude, have you guys ever slept next to a bear? Just the snoring alone.
And then not just me, it was this guy too. But that's another funny thing. So we get to the hotel
I shared a bed with Austin. You shared a bed with Erik, no?
No.
You did share a bed
Yeah, it
with
was
him.
you two and it was us too.
But you were the one snoring.
Oh
though.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
but
He guy can handle it. His is like a little squeak, man. Like,
it is a little squeak. It's like,
I don't know, man. I have a video of you sounding like a duck, Erik.
oh yeah, from that trip.
But-
and then
Not even that. I know I snore, so like I wait till everybody goes to sleep, and then I go to sleep so that way everybody can.
you're the
You
first one
sleep.
to go to sleep.
And I remember waking up at like 3 a.m, and I kind of turned my head, and I just see this guy just doing these weird stretches with his arms, playing them all around and stuff.
3 in the morning.
And in my head, I'm like, am I?
Michael Keaton Batman.
That was hilarious.
So in my head, I'm like, am I sleep deprived, or is this guy really like throwing his arms around in here, starting a mosh pit
Yeah.
in the hotel room and shit?
Have to get this occupied, man.
Yeah. But we wake up, and the whole goal was we can't waste a minute of this day. We're only here for today. We're gonna drive back the next night, that same night.
Yeah.
So we get out there, and we didn't have the show wasn't until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. But we got in contact with Eve Monse, and Eve is like the co-owner of Antone's record shop as well. So she was like, "Yeah, come meet me out here," and you know,
Because we went to the record shop, right?
we did. So I think the first stop, like first we hit up like the state capitol. We hit up like little hot spots around Austin.
We went to UT and stuff.
We went to UT. I was so keen on like. We went to go eat at Franklin's Barbecue because Chef is one of my all-time favorite films. And I was like, yo, we got to check out this barbecue spot. I just want to see it. And usually that place is packed and has a line out the door. We've experienced that.
It was a little packed. It was inside. It was inside.
Yeah, so we got to eat there and like where they shot this film. So I was really excited. And I still have that picture, man. Like the picture we took there at Antone's and stuff. I mean, at Franklin's.
And then we signed like the little.
Oh yeah, people get to sign there.
So it was cool. We hit up all these Austin hotspots, and then finally we got to the record store.
Before we get to the record store, when we were driving around, I guess would be downtown, like around UT and the Capitol. They get some of the shots that you see in there, like moving shots. We're driving down the streets, and Erik would see something that he'd like. So
Just
since
comes
they're in
to
the
show.
back, they open up the door on the minivan, and Eric's there with the camera, and Costas over here like grabbing
Holding
onto
him.
his back.
Yeah.
So randomly we'd just open up the door, and he'd get like a
Get
shot
shots, moving
while
shots.
driving
We
and
had our
stuff.
own little setup, man. It was insane. It comes to show like what Erik was willing to do to get the shots. Castro was there holding him, and I was driving, and Austin's like looking out for cops. Like it was insane.
It's a team.
And we did that for a while. We did that for a good 3-4 hours, just cruising around Austin, getting some good shots, good B-roll. We got like Castro walking around the Capitol, just good shots, man, just good stuff. And we get to the record store. We meet Eve in person.
Awesome record store. It's an old school record store.
We got to hang out there a little while, shoot B-roll there. And
Who's the guy with the glasses? He was part of the band.
Buck.
That guy's so cool.
Buck. He's actually Eve's husband. They're actually married.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess they're co-owners of the record store and the club, and
They're cool.
they were cool. They were like, oh man, they were so excited to be in a film, and this is a novice little film that nobody was ever gonna see type of thing. Like it was just practice, and they were like excited. They were like, it's so awesome to be in this. Like, let us know what you guys need. So we kill a little time, and then we get to Antone's Club, which is on, I think it's on 5th Street.
Yeah, and we like got there early so we can park right in front of it.
Yeah.
Because then after that
we had equipment and
we
stuff.
took an Uber, whatever the ride sharing is in Austin, to go get food, and then
we went to Torchy's.
We went to Torchy's.
We went to Torchy's in Austin.
I love Torchy's. That was
and
the first time
we
I had
ate,
it.
and then we went to 6th Street.
Walked around.
And there was some guy playing a bucket, like a drum, and a costume. You remember that?
What was
some guy was like asking for money, like panhandling, but he was playing like a little drum, and he kept getting close to you, and you were like, oh, like you were getting on his case.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yo.
Like, my personal space?
Yeah. Well, on 6th Street, and got to walk around, and we finally get to Antone's Club, and man, it's just the vibe in there is amazing. I'm a big blues guy. I love the blues.
The band, dude, the music.
Yeah, the live music was insane. And
Castro was there for like half an hour, and then he went to the van to sleep.
Yeah. The accommodations, in
Yeah.
there, like they let us set up our cameras next to the soundboard. They let us connect straight into the soundboard. We got to Erik was basically on the stage getting shots during the live performance.
To this day, some of my favorite shots.
I remember Castro was like buying beers for everybody.
I bought him a beer.
You're
yeah,
like buying a round of beers for everybody and chilling.
Get the vibe going, yeah.
Yeah, and it was
all the stuff that Tower, like I know, all the stuff that I know Tower already has, like that was just present there, like because this guy's always the
motivator,
kinda. And then you know so like
the motivator.
Oh man, he's got a good team around. You gotta.
And that's where I'm saying it solidified. Like we got there, we did everything. We were shooting all day in Austin. It was hot. We're sweating. And then we had to change into our nice clothes for the club. We're like all stinky, man. We're just crazy.
By the way, didn't you like iron everybody's clothes in the morning?
I did iron everybody's clothes.
Hey, dude. I lost like 20 pounds, dude.
It was insane, but it was so worth it. And I remember at the end of the night, we even did a mini interview with even the Exiles on like a couch type setting outside the club. And we asked them. I just remember it really impacted me because as a filmmaker, like starting out, it impacted me because my question. I have them on Facebook and stuff. We're still in touch.
No, but the interview.
I have it. So we have it somewhere. Did I have it somewhere? What?
I don't know where it's at.
It's in his computer somewhere.
Be like, what?
But anyways, I remember what impacted me was we asked them, what was it like working with Tower Productions? And we hadn't really solidified that. In my brain. So I was like, what was it like working with Tower Productions? And they were like, oh, seamless. You guys are amazing, man. And we love El Paso. We loved when we went there. And we hope to work with you guys again. And it was just that type of situation.
One thing I remember the most was the guitarist. He was like, when I heard you guys were coming from El Paso, I had to wear my boots. And like, there was like some boots
in El Paso.
that he got in El Paso.
Terry. His name was Terry. And he got those boots there. So we get in the van and we're all kind of just like, we did it. I remember I had a GoPro and I set it up in front of the van. And I this still impacts me a lot. I tell the story a lot because I remember asking these guys, because in my brain, they were helping me, but we weren't a solidified crew. It wasn't like permanent. Like, you guys aren't going to help me with this crazy dream for the rest of my life.
We weren't supposed to?
No, man. So it to me, it was just like, I felt like, hey, can we do this again? So I remember asking the question, and we did like a little recap, like, hey, we're almost done. We're heading back to El Paso. Like a vlog type of situation. Yeah. And I remember asking the question, like, how do you guys feel about working with Tower Productions? Like, with me, ask Tower Productions. And I remember Austin's answer was, we are Tower Productions, man. Like, I thought we were all Tower Productions. Like, we're here already.
It's because that trip, man.
Yeah.
Worst sentence I've ever said in my life.
We drove back, and I remember, I think I was the first one to drive, and me and Erik, that's when Erik and I got close.
Yeah. You guys had like a long.
We had a long conversation.
I was the only one that did not get sleep in the whole road.
Yeah, because he stayed up with everybody.
Primero agarró a Erik y luego te agarró a ti.
What do you mean? Perro. Oh, yeah, but we got into some deep, like, relationship conversation stuff. And then we got into deep, like, filmmaking conversation stuff. And we developed an idea that Erik had in his brain. And he told me this pitch of this idea he has for a film. And I was like, dude, you got to let me write it. Like, let me write this. I know what you're going for. And to this day, it's one of our big passion projects that we're hoping to tackle in the next couple of years.
That's all the info you can give on that. I'm sorry.
That's all the info I can give on that. But it started there, and that I remember after that, somebody took over to drive. I don't know if it was
I think
you.
I took over for a couple
I
hours.
fell asleep for the rest of the trip, man.
Can
Like,
I say something? I remember we're like 20 miles away, and this guy made me.
Are you okay? Because I just see
Yeah, get that one.
the cord just yanked. Anyway.
You know, I'm not gonna say that story because it's a little embarrassing for us.
well, like
No,
you
no,
peed
no.
in the.
No, this
On
guy.
the side
We're
of the
like
road?
30 miles away with like half a tank of gas. And it was like, yo, we gotta put gas. I'm like, dude, we're like right there. Like, no, man, just stop. Coming to find out, you have to go take a shit, dude.
Is that what that was?
You should just told me.
Hey,
dude.
you know
I
what?
filled the whole
But to
tank.
be fair,
But look,
Getting scared, like,
But
okay.
to be fair, like at one point, with these two be like camels, man. Like on the road, we stopped 2-3 times. I remember waking up and we're in some random field.
I gotta,
Yeah.
These two had to
I
pee.
gotta pee, man.
yeah, I remember Costa drove like the last bit of it, and I was asleep, I think, in the front seat. And I get up, I'm like, why are we stopping? And look over, and I just see Costa like on the side of the road.
And I'm the one driving.
Yeah, man. But we
The
came
car's still
back.
moving, and you're just running with
Nobody
it.
wake up. I gotta pee.
We came back and we the goal was to finish this film, and we realized that there's some stuff we just had to reshoot. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
We had to work out of a green screen, and it didn't work. And we tried to make something happen, and we ended up screening the film to the cast and crew, like, guys, we need help finishing this film. Like, with
And
everybody,
I think the reason we screened it more than anything was just to convince people we needed to reshoot.
we needed the reshoots,
Yeah.
and we had some reluctancy, and I remember the people that were reluctant.
Afterwards, we're like, yeah, let's.
Yeah, like, I get why you guys need the reshoots. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we did it right then and there. Like, we screened it, and then we did the reshoots right then and there.
Yeah. So it was at UTEP. Interestingly enough, that's the first time we met Francisco and Luis from TriCast.
God, worst day ever.
Because they were in the film club, and they kind of at UTEP they let us shoot there. And
Shout
then,
out to TowerCast.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ramon, too. He was the one that...
Ramon lent us a
Yeah.
studio
The
space,
studio, that's true.
which doesn't exist anymore at UTEP.
Yeah, they
It's
changed
gone.
it, man.
So, we got to shoot there. We finished the film, and we had a private screening at Applebee's.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say
I
that.
remember
I was
that.
about to say that.
You remember that?
That's
You guys
where we
remember
got. That's where I got my poster for sure.
With the inflatable.
Yeah, it was an
Sandra
inflatable
got
screen.
me an inflatable. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
So
know.
they have like a little.
They gave us the
co-
back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought just like another.
No. With all the,
Everybody, shut up.
everybody, shut up. There's art happening here, people.
You're ruining the moment, Dad.
No, but
We charged 50 cents for everybody to watch on the little, like, order things.
yeah, Sandra got me this thing for my birthday or something. It was an inflatable screen from MGM, and we inflated it there, and that's where we screened it for like friends and family. It was like maybe 20 people.
Yeah,
or
like,
something.
everybody and anybody who was involved, we invited.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. That solidified a lot for us because what's interesting about Tower in terms of the origins, we finished that short and we jumped right into a feature right after that.
Yeah.
Was that a smart move or a good move?
Hell yeah, it was a smart one. I liked
An absurd.
I think it depends on the way you look
it.
at
A
it.
needed
because-
move.
So you guys made a feature film?
So we made a feature film, and I don't know about it being a smart decision or it was just
It was ambitious.
it was ambitious. We did a corporate job in Fort Worth, where it provided us the funds to get new equipment that we felt we needed. We got a crane, we got a track and dolly system, we got a few things like that. I think
From that one.
from that one gig,
wow.
when
Cool.
that one gig, and then the remainder of the budget
was towards the film.
was towards the film, food, catering for people.
But even that, I remember before we got into all that, you had brought us 2 scripts. You had brought maybe 20, 30 pages of what you had written from the story that Erik had told you.
Right.
And you had brought us the script for Depth of Field, which at that time was like 38, 40 pages. And that's when we were like, dude, this either needs to be trimmed down for a short or extended for a feature.
Yeah, and we felt like it was probably the more marketable option.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know what that word meant then. But it felt like it was going to connect with people a little more on a bigger scale, and whereas the other one was more of an indie, intimate film, and so we jumped into it. At the time, my brother was really involved with the company, and he was helping us out with logistics and finding us money. And shout out to Robert. I mean, he really did. He found us that gig in Dallas. He was the one that provided that job. And and we went out there. We shot this corporate gig, and then came back with the funds, invested that into the film. called in a ton of favors. We shot a bulk of the film at UTEP.
We shot some of it at UTEP, some of it to Zeke's.
Yeah, shout out to
Zeke's.
Zeke's too. They lent us a
DPCC.
cooler.
Did you guys feel untouchable because you just like pulled off the first thing so well that you figured, well, let's
I
just
don't know
keep
if it was
challenging
untouchable.
ourselves,
It just
but-
felt
not like in that sense, but
like we
just
knew
that
how to
momentum.
do it momentum for sure. Like, hey, it came out pretty well for our first film. Maybe we know what we're doing. Maybe we do know what we're doing. What if and we just thought, let's just amplify that. If a short it takes to do this, well, feature it's going to take to do this times 10, and that means bigger crew. That means bigger cast. That means kind of more locations, and at least that's what we thought. And sure enough, that's where we started solidifying what I feel like Towers started being on a bigger scale. We got more people that wanted to help out. Ricky, for instance, came on for that film. We had a few other people that joined.
We had Adam at the time. Carla was with us. For
Carla was doing running sound for a
her
while.
and her sister.
Yeah.
What was her sister's name?
I'm not
forget.
sure what they're doing now. Catalina. So they came on to help out.
I think they're still doing film, to my knowledge.
Yeah. So it just kind of, it was a feature film. We shot during the summer. We shot it 21 days.
Yeah.
21 days on a budget of like $1,200.
With no trailer.
With no trailer. We didn't have a
somebody was
trailer
using
for
it
it.
at the time.
It was
We
interesting.
have your trailer, just somebody's using it.
It was interesting on this front because Castro was the lead. He was the lead. He was now the lead. He wasn't the supporting character. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit in terms of being the lead for a feature film. You know?
It was definitely a little bit intimidating, but just after the first film, having this crew around me made it a little easier for sure. Especially with the co-actress, the co-star.
Maggie. Shout out to Maggie.
Shout out to Maggie. She was pretty cool too. It's different when you're the lead, man.
Yeah.
You're the face of the film. It's a lot of pressure. Then your editor not giving you good angles. No, but I mean, it was
Blame
good.
your cinematographer, man.
It was a love story with and it's not out yet, guys. It'll be out soon. We're doing a recut right now that we want to feel confident to release.
The story's interesting, man. The story is one of a kind.
So the film is, I mean, we could talk about the plot, I think, a little bit. It's just about, it's a love story with a sci-fi twist. It's about
It's cool.
a world that has developed this condition where everybody loses their sight by like the age of 20.
I still love hearing it.
And yeah, so essentially what happens is we have James Diaz, Erik's character, who is one of the lucky few that isn't affected by this condition.
Still have these beautiful eyes that can see.
Yeah. And it's like
His eye is the poster.
yeah, he really is. And it's something along the lines of like there's 1% of the population that doesn't get affected. And he doesn't care. He's not empathetic towards this. He just lives life and almost makes fun of the blind people. Like almost like, screw these people.
take
It doesn't
showers.
affect me. Yeah. And
Take showers,
until
that'll be
he meets a girl that's blind and he falls in love with her, and that dynamic develops and he starts to be more empathetic and whatnot. So in short, that's the film. It had a decent festival run when we first finished the first cut, and then now it's just being recut so we could widely distribute it. But it taught us a lot. It taught us so much on what not to do.
Taught us never to do a feature for $1,200 again.
Never do a feature for $1,200. No, you know what? It was not because it went wrong or anything, but you need to be able to support your cast and crew, pay them for their time, luckily everybody did it for free, and we fed them and we took care of them as much as we could, provided everybody stuff for their reels, etc.
Yeah. I think the big thing was just feeding everybody, and that's, I think, the biggest thing you have to do, even on an indie film set. If you want people to be dedicated and show up, feed them.
How did you guys manage to stay like professional within like such ambitious projects and stuff? Like, how do you school? Like, what? Like, where did you guys like find that?
Good question.
I don't know.
The secret sauce, I guess.
Like, you mean like defining as in a business and a friendship relationship, or what do you mean?
No, just in general. Like, how did you guys? Like, you guys are always held to be like really professional and quick on your feet. Like, did that just come naturally, or did you guys just because you guys took
I
it
think
seriously?
just naturally, just coming from life, where you learn how to deal with stuff. Or
It's like going to work. So I mean, do it professionally. Don't half-ass it. Yeah. And that's what it was. So I mean, these people are letting us like shoot at certain places.
Because like there was the reason why it was so not like easy, but like the fact
Like
that
seamless.
Seamless.
Well-
Yeah. Did you guys like what was the prep? Like,
Well, I think we have a very good. We were able to distinguish this, hanging out amongst friends, and we're really close outside of filming. So it's good to establish that, but it's good to establish that once you're on set, you're at work. Right? So I think we're very good at dividing that. When we're on set, we don't talk to each other like we're friends. You know, we have fun, but it's go time. We're these people are kind enough to lend us their time. They're here for 12 hours on the shoot. Let's give them our best.
Yeah, we don't waste any time, and you can ask anybody that's worked with us. Like, he's right. We have fun on set. We joke around as friends, but we know that it's a time crunch. We don't want to waste people's time either.
Yeah.
We don't want them just sitting around while we're over there joking and having a good time. But I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll have a good time on set, but it's a matter of we need to get this done. Like Erik said, they're lending their time to us.
Yeah, and just like you said, locations. Yeah. The budget went to feeding people and renting a couple locations. We shot at this beautiful theater at UTEP, and they rented it out to us. And it was my favorite day on the shoot. I loved that day.
I think it was everybody's.
Yeah, and it was just a matter of doing that. And also, this film was entirely shot in El Paso, a feature film. Not that it's never been done before, but we didn't know anybody that had ever done it. It might have been done on a bigger scale. We had never known of anybody that shot a feature film in El Paso. And I remember, shout out to Susie Gaines, man. She was our film commissioner at the time. She helped us out so much. She's retired since then, and now Drew Mayer Oaks, who's still helping us and being there for us. But your film commission is important, man. Yes. Your film commission is important to take on a big feat. Talk to them. Let them know what you're doing. They might say, hey, you're looking for this location, I'll help you out. You can do this, or maybe you can shoot here.
Even if you're not looking to get permits or permission, just talk to them.
Talk to them. And even if you are, they're going to make that process a whole lot smoother for you. We went through this, I won't get into it, but we went through a really bad experience when we were trying to get permits because of insurance companies that were slacking it. And it was that type of situation. So they helped us out through all of it, man. I mean, we got to shoot in locations that shall remain nameless without a permit because our film commissioner helped us out. And it was only because the insurance company wasn't there, and there was a whole situation, but they help you out. So go to your film commission. For our first feature film, that was important to us. It really helped us out a lot. I think scheduling was the biggest challenge.
It was because I think the biggest thing on scheduling was throughout the film, Erik, his character, his hair changes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. We literally told him for 6 months, do not cut your hair.
We shot the entire film backwards.
We did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, up until when he needed to be shaved.
How do you know when to make those calls? Like, okay, this is the best way to do it.
I had the best AD in the game, man. Austin was my AD at the time, and it was a matter of like, look, I need his look to constantly evolve throughout the film, so we need to schedule him out when his hair is the longest and his beard is the longest up until this point. And
we literally had a barber come on set one day because it was the last scene with his hair long and beard shaved.
We shaved the whole beard because I didn't want the whole
right.
But we literally had a barber come to set and
to shoot two different scenes on the same note.
Yeah, so it was a matter we shot completely backwards until the point of when he cuts his hair. He even went a couple of times to his
barber
salon. I think you go to a salon, right? To his own salon, and just told him just trim it a little.
Yeah.
As we were shooting, they were trimming a little, but
there
was
I'd also like to say with Maggie. Maggie really came and brought something authentic to set. She was getting ready to move to Germany because her husband was getting stationed out there. So we were on a time crunch because of that. Like, she was going to leave to Germany on a certain day. Beyond that, we were going to be able to do reshoots, and we were going to be able to have her on set. So she was working. She was working at the mall, I think, right? And she was busy with her schedule. Everybody was busy, man. But we all brought something.
I remember for those 21 days that we would literally get off set. I would drive home, literally unload all the equipment, and drive right to work.
Yeah. I mean, it was insane. I remember Sandra was working, I think, at the time on her second bachelor's, which was a whole new feat, and you were involved I think the most you'd ever been involved in depth of field.
Oh, dude, I had to ask for wardrobe.
I loved it. I loved it, and it's amazing to see how you guys, like you mentioned the first things that you did, and then this one you guys were like, okay, it's doable. We can do it, and here we go. And it was great. Yeah.
But I mean, as well, I think you had a lot of fun with doing Al's scars, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I love Al. I love you. Yes, he's and we researched like how can you do a scar and and that was fun, and I mean props to him. He let me do everything, and I think my favorite scene was the hospital when he runs. It was very like sentimental. I like I like to see. I think Erik, I don't know, it touches my heart when something like the character goes through something painful. I think that's when you shine. Yeah.
Dude, I remember that when it's running out of the hospital into the elevator, like it was timed so perfectly.
Oh man, that shot was a wonder. We were going from room to the elevator. Yeah, that was insane.
And it was like perfect timing.
No, I think we did 2 takes, and it was the first take that took it. Like the second time we tried to do it, the timing wasn't there. The elevator, it was great. I, as a DP, Erik, how was that? How was that for you? I mean,
did I give you an asshole? Like, did I?
Shit, no. I mean,
no, did I question you a lot or something?
no. I practically the entire movie. I practically just worked with Carlos. I didn't have to answer to anyone else, just him. And
Who's your daddy?
and then but that specific scene I remember because we were just lucky. I think we had to do that like 3 times,
was it 3 takes?
3 or 4 times.
I remember, yeah.
People wanting to
And then, but like it was, they're quick shots because it's fast paced, and I think my only issue was like I've never done a wonder, so it's like, oh damn it, catch up.
No,
So
we
like,
did. We had done wonders for Sun City Lights, but I remember that
Oh,
was shaky
they
cam. You remember? And we were like,
I mean,
you were like, no, this sucks, and we couldn't do this. And I was like, but it's a wonder. It's a Scorsese wonder. It's what I wanted.
Dude, the camera was shaking.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was bad. But anyways, this was my first successful wonder.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I believe it was like he's running out, and then it's not running, but like he's like fast paced.
Yeah.
He's walking, and then he reaches because he's going. I believe that's like close to the end, right?
Joggers.
And yeah, we get to the elevator. We had a lot of problems with the elevator. Not a whole lot. It was just like chance. So I think the first time was like there was people leaving the elevator. Like damn it, that ruined it.
I think you know what it is a lot of this feature was everything fell into the right place. I don't like the word luck because I don't feel like that's the right word to describe it. But everything fell into the right place. But primarily because we did our homework. Like we prepped for this film a lot. We had a month of rehearsals. You remember at UTEP classrooms we were rehearsing? We had a month of being able to work out the script and the shots and the storyboards. We had a month to work out the schedule. Like it was just a ton of stuff to work out the wardrobe and the scars. And I think just we did our prep, and that's what taught us like what will make a successful film shoot.
Right, because anybody can have ambitious plans, but you have to stay ambitious, right?
And prep it, and we had an amazing time premiering the film for cast and crew at Alamo Draft House, which was a big deal to us. That was a big deal to us. Austin and I edited. We stayed. Well, Austin co-edited with Daniel, the feature, and Daniel, yeah, you guys co-edited, and I remember Austin and I were editing to the wee hours because we had to turn in the film. I think like the evening before the screening, we edited up until that time. Like we exported right on our deadline, and it was insane. And they rolled out the red carpet. Sandra was there organizing pretty much the whole event at the Alamo. We had a Q&A, and they rolled out the red carpet for us, man. All of our friends, anybody who was involved with the film, other filmmakers, Drew, the film commissioner, Susie was there. It was like a 90-seat theater, and we filled it up. And,
Nice.
No, I think it was like 120.
was it? I remember it being like a 90. Yeah, I think you're right. It was 113 seats. It was 113 seats, and we filled it up with friends, family, cast, crew. We had a Q&A. That was just one of the best things we've ever done, and I think that's what gave us the fuel, Juan, to like.
That was the first time I saw Erik in like a button up in a jacket.
Yeah, Erik went up with a nice
He's
little
like, why'd you have
suit
to
coat.
mention that?
But it was great, man. It was one of my favorite things that we've done as a company, and it gave us the fuel to like, we just accomplished the feature, man. Like this was a big, So right after that, we get into Tower 20, which originally wasn't Tower 20. It was
wasn't.
like we were gonna make like 5 films that year. Everybody had an idea. We all wanted to tackle
But
them.
then people had like school projects, and we're like, well, let's do this.
We can double up as Tower 20 films.
Yeah.
But the goal with Tower 20 from the beginning was let's work with new writers, directors, anybody in the crew that has an idea, wants to tackle a project. We want to help them out, and if we have projects. So that's how Tower 20 came, and I'd like to say the rest is history because later on, towards the tail end of the Tower 20, we met Juan. Towards the tail end of the Tower 20, we met De La O. We met Michael Head.
We met Michael right before Tower 20.
We met Michael because, I have to tell the story. Michael Head moved to El Paso not too long ago, and he put up on the forums.
From Dallas, right?
From Dallas, and on Facebook. Oh, wow. He's like, hey, I want to work with filmmakers. If anybody needs help on this, anything, I can pretty much do anything. And we were the only ones that responded.
Well, I think we were looking for a sound mixer.
But that's kind of his thing is like you guys were the only ones that reached out to me and asked for my help. And that meant a lot to him because nobody else responded. And we needed a sound mixer because we had a terrible experience.
Yeah,
at
but
a sound
the biggest
studio.
thing I remember from Michael was he originally told us his rate.
Right.
And we were very slim on what we had left in the budget. We're like, okay.
For post.
Yeah, we're like, let's talk to him. And it's up. And these two hit it off, I kid you not, for like an hour and a half, 2 hours just talking about Dallas.
Yeah.
Because he grew up in Dallas and Michael's lived there. So they're just talking about all that. And we got a great vibe from Michael. He gave us a great vibe. And we spent maybe 5 minutes talking business.
Yeah.
It was more just getting to know him and everything. And he was like, tell you what, I'll do this for you guys. He's like, I'll help you guys on this, help me out on the next thing.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed from there.
And since then, I remember we came on to the first film.
There's still time.
Production-wise, was there still time?
Dude, Michael was a great addition.
Yeah, and he for sure brought a lot to the table, just like Juan, just like De La O, all these guys that came on after Depth of Field. It was interesting.
Yeah, we've created a pretty awesome team.
Yeah, we've made a pretty awesome team for sure, man.
Yeah,
That's for
everyone
sure.
has good traits. De La O, he's back there. He's funny.
Where would you
Funny
go
man.
from here,
You're a funny guy.
Well, yeah. What's interesting is we strategically wanted episode 10 of this podcast, guys, to be the Tower Origins because to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been, and I think that's important. And we really do have this. Michael likes to point it out a lot. Like to us, at least between us three, and I know Castro's a part of that mentality too, where we're like, nah, we're just going on to the next thing. Let's get on to the next thing. Let's make the next thing bigger and better and of more quality. And Michael, like, I remember when we finished up the field, it was a great film and a great experience. But I remember every cut we'd look back on, I'd be like, oh man, I just want to move on to the next thing. I'm so done with this film. And Michael Head likes to point out, dude, you that's a feature. You can't knock that. You can't knock that. You guys made a feature. That's most than. I remember Drew when at the screening he came up to us. He was brand new at the time as a film commissioner, and he came up to us.
He wasn't even the commissioner yet.
He wasn't. He was a film coordinator, and he came up to us and he was like, mind you, Drew has been a film commissioner in San Antonio and Houston, all over Texas, in the New Mexico area. He came up to us and he was like, you guys are what did he say? You guys have done more than most people are willing to do, or something along the lines of that. Like he was like, you guys are more than halfway there. Like you're on your way there, and that meant a lot to us, So I think it just taught us a lot. We're gonna keep getting into the Tower 20 films, guys, and the next one up is Roulette. But we think that this was important to talk about the Tower origins and where we came from, and how our first short film and our first feature film taught us everything we needed to know. And it wasn't because we were smart. It wasn't because we were knowledgeable in filmmaking. It was because we just went for it.
It was just a matter of trial and error.
Trial and error, surrounding ourselves with the right people.
And where we're going.
Where we're going is
To Mars.
Talk about it. To Mars. I like that.
we can't talk about it. But this year,
Yeah, I'll jump over this table and start hitting on
2020 is going to be a very great year for Tower Productions, guys. We started planning 2020 back in October, and the what we're going to start doing this year, and it's so exciting. What's more exciting as well is TowerCast. We're going to be tackling even more of Tower 20, the rest of the films, what we're going to get into. But like I've said before, we're going to get filmmakers, other filmmakers that are not part of Tower necessarily.
Just be patient, guys. We're going to get through Tower 20 and once the second season starts, the TowerCast, we're going to start. That happens. We're going to
It's a GoPro.
we're going to start getting other people on here that, we definitely want to talk to and,
Yeah.
have
But
different perspectives in film and El Paso.
Hopefully,
Hello.
In terms of where we're going, guys, we're always looking for people to work with. If you're ever interested in film, or if we can ever help you out with a project, please come to us. You know, we didn't have that. We didn't have that when we first started, and it's important to help you guys out too, wherever we.
Because what
can.
I get is like, well, like from the moment you guys started, like since there was doors not like necessarily closed, but like not open armed. You guys want to be the open arms guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you guys were with me. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I've had my experiences with other people, but like, what I liked about Tower was that you guys were just like, yeah, go for it, and instead of like, yeah, but fit within our, you know,
fit within the box that we're putting you in.
Yeah. Like I really hate this, and I've seen it in El Paso. It happens, but I like the mentality that we have. We're open to anything, and then like be outside, be outside the box. Don't like you do what you want to do.
Yeah,
you know, like I like that a lot, and that's why especially me out of everyone, like I have some pretty stupid ideas.
We all do, man.
But we roll with it. But
we're gonna make it.
Not to sound like cheesy as hell, but like we literally I like to say that I'm proud. Like we started this company by building brick by brick that tower.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome. No, yeah, Will Smith has like a quote where he's like, people want to say like, I want to build a wall, and just like, you know, but you gotta like focus on the bricks, like individual bricks on the foundations and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a lot more coming, guys. I promise you, this year is a big year for us, and we want to bring you guys with on that journey. Again, I can't reveal too much of the information that we're going to tackle this year.
It is
But it's a big year. It's a big year. We want to take anybody with us that wants to come with us, and that's what TowerCast is about. And I think that's what Juan wants to bring to this podcast too. So yeah, I don't know if anything else you might have, Juan, for us.
I guess I'd be curious to end it. What's a movie you'd recommend for inspiring filmmakers to watch? That
movie I'd recommend.
Hello.
I like that. Here you go.
Wait, what? Oh my God!
Give them all three.
Why do I get like triple fisted?
So what movie do you recommend, Lalo?
Oh man, there's so many movies. Wait, I
I
need to think of an honest answer.
like a filmmaking movie that pushed you to.
That's true. Which one give you like the?
You know, there's so many different like movies that are out there, but the one that like inspired me to think that filmmaking could cause a feeling or an effect was like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I remember seeing
love
that
that movie.
and being in the theaters and seeing how he went to all these different places and the mixture of the music and everything. I mean, I think it's an underrated film, but like
It is.
that was the first time I went to a theater and like left and I was like, whoa, this is like
It's beautifully shot.
That's crazy. Yeah, and then I mean, you see the different locations and everything, and it's just like, wow, that was in a movie. Like I think that's pretty crazy.
It's a porpoise.
Yeah.
That's a shark.
You know, I think you know that's the feeling that kind of got us all here, and I think that's what got me here.
I like that.
Well, actually, I got here in a car.
And that's Austin's joke of the day.
Well, I think we know his answer.
so the real, I guess like, what's the real?
Pay
the real
no
question
attention.
is what movie inspired me?
Oh, what's a movie you'd like people to watch? Be like, hey man, watch this if you want to be a filmmaker. Yeah, if you want to be a filmmaker.
Oof.
That's tough because out of everyone, I think I'm like.
John Carpenter's Halloween, maybe.
Oh, Michael Myers is the best villain ever.
Okay. A very good movie, I guess, like to inspire you to be a filmmaker would be, yeah, like the very low budget like horror films. I mean, they seem tough to make, but like they're actually the cheapest ones to make. Halloween was a very low budget film, and they literally had to shoot that not in the fall, and then they disguised the whole set to be in the fall. They actually had to, all the leaves that would fall off trees, they were all had to gather again and put them in bags.
I mean, like
and then reuse them for another show.
The mask is a William Shatner mask.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
That they died and
it's a William
changed.
Shatner mask. Some guy, I think he went out to find a mask.
Yeah.
And he found that, and he just painted it white.
So
and
talk about indie,
frizzed
man.
the hair. He fuzzed the hair or whatever, and that was the mask. Tuesday. There you go.
Halloween or low budget horror films.
Yes.
Austin.
I'm thinking.
There's actually a really good John Carpenter doc. I think any John Carpenter documentary, they always go in depth on how like they assemble.
Yeah, he's a villain.
Somebody else come. I'm thinking.
Castro.
Cable guy.
I don't want to sound repetitive. Obviously, Cable Guy. But
Called
newer
it.
one.
I don't think you've mentioned that on the podcast before.
Well, Jim Carrey one. It was just the first dark comedy that I saw that didn't really get the jokes, but as I saw it more and more, I loved it. He added that. It wasn't on the script. It's just beautiful stuff like that.
As an actor, that really pulls.
Yeah.
for
But
you,
nowadays, well, it's not now. It's a little like maybe 67 years old. That really stood out is Rain on Me.
Oh,
with Adam Sandler.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
If you know Adam Sandler, he's a comedy guy.
Fantastic
He does
film.
comedy, those little weird ones, but he really stands out in this one because he does acting for real.
He plays the husband of a family who passes away in 9/11 and PTSD, and it's just intense, man. It's Don Cheadle in that too.
And just not the acting, man, just the whole overall picture.
It's good.
But yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm gonna go with more indie films. My go-to answer is always Good Will Hunting because it's my favorite film of all time. It's just interesting to see dynamic characters. It's all talking, and it keeps you engaged, and it makes you feel. And that's the most important thing for a film for me is that it makes you feel something. Yeah. Films like that, Liberal Arts is another one that people pass up on very much so. Josh Radnor, who's the lead in How I Met Your Mother, wrote, directed, and starred in that film, and he's fantastic.
It's just hard to see him outside of that Ted role, though.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. But in this, he was fantastic. He plays a college advisor that goes back to visit his alma mater to get inspiration and falls in love with the girl, kind of. But at the same time, he's struggling internally. It's just a great film. But those indie films that make you feel like Kevin Smith likes to say when he was making Clerks, he watched Richard Linklater's Slacker. And he thought, I could do this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those are important. Like, you could watch films that are simple.
I think just anything really from the indie brats.
Yeah, from the indie brats, that make you feel like, the Rodriguezes and the Kevin Smiths and the Linklaters. And, it makes you feel like this is doable. It feels like this is a great film that's doable. Mm-hmm. Gus Van Sant does a lot of that, like My Own Private Idaho. So just indie filmmakers that tell great stories with simple elements. That's what I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I think anything that's indie that you don't have to pick a single film out, but any good indie films will really inspire you. And personally, it has to me.
Which one?
If I had to pick one, probably Clerks. Yeah, because like Carlos says, it's just that thing
that also has a good documentary.
Yeah, it is, but it really puts into perspective to you of I can do this, and two people talking in one location, and it really inspires you to be I can tell great stories, and I don't need it to be the next Dwayne Johnson jumping through a building type deal, You can still tell great stories.
San Andreas.
I don't think this question really applies. Can I have a different
That's not, but you've seen a lot of movies.
She's going to say Mean Girls.
Yes.
What? Okay, I got you. What
Buttercup.
movie reminds you of Tower? What movie reminds you most of Tower?
Tower?
Yeah, what's a movie like that? Reminds me of these guys.
Oh, damn.
Because the Lao's giving us a countdown over there.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Damn, that's a really tough question.
Really
From you get Tower? My favorite Tower movie?
Sure.
Which one would you be hey friends, I want you to watch this movie, and you won't even tell them it's Tower, just because it's.
Yeah.
What's your most proud film? What's the most the one you're most proud of from them?
Yeah, that's all. It's because they're all different.
She's got to name one for me.
That's tough.
She's got a list on her
I
own.
like all of them.
Recently we had a conversation where we're the next podcast episode is this one, and then she's like, who directed that? And I was like, I directed that. She forget it almost blends for her.
Well, no, you guys have made so much movies.
Yeah, it blends for her. It's just Tower working on films. It's I don't remember who
it doesn't help
directs
that it's either Damien or Castro in the lead.
For all of.
It doesn't even have to be Tower. Any film, whatever.
Well, I'm completely different from you guys. My favorite films are girly films,
Say Mean Girls.
Mean Girls is a good movie.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Have you seen that one?
Oh, that's
like
a
good one too.
Yeah.
Mean Girls. It's actually
Tina Fey. That one's good. No, there's a good
Yeah, like just girly stuff. I mean, which I think it's like sometimes that's how I bring them down to earth. I'm like, hey guys, like I'm a girl. This is not gonna, be relatable to a girl. And
like we're up in the air, and she's like, you better think about that.
Yeah.
We look at them. We're like, hi, conscience.
I'm the
We haven't
general
spoken in a while.
audience, right? I'm
The general audience, right?
audience. Yeah, I'm the general audience.
Let's not get into
but
that
yeah.
discussion again,
no,
please.
No film you want to mention?
What do you mean? That's one of my all-time favorite. I like Twilight too.
Hey, he's Batman now.
Sandra, the door's right over there.
All right, I think that about wraps it up. I would say, I always need to like find some juice for me to keep going. So I would say the new Eddie
Here's
Murphy.
some juice.
My Name is Dolomite, man. I really love
It's
it.
actually really good. I haven't seen Eddie Murphy do that in a long time.
It's really good.
Dolomite is my name. That's great.
No, because it's straight up like a filmamaker's journey. It's like,
it is. Cool. It's a filmmaker's journey.
Yeah.
Lelo, we need one more word from you.
Huh? One more word?
Yeah,
You're gonna wrap this up.
The N. Well, he already did it.
I need to do a word? Or
N word of the day.
What do I do?
What's the second word of the day?
Oh, xenophilic. Easy.
Whoa.
Xenophilic.
What's
What's that?
Thesaurus, man.
So, xenophobic is just fear of people from different places and, the non-welcoming of them. Racist? But xenophilic is
So it's the proper way to call somebody a racist.
Right.
No, but, xenophilic is accepting of new people from different places and all that kind of
So
stuff.
would you say that Tower is xenophilic?
Xenophilic? Is that what you said?
Xenophilic.
How did you say the word?
Xenophilic. So would you say Tower
Xenophilic.
xenophilic?
I would say. I would definitely say. I
Xenophilic.
I think I kind of stand as the new person who is just like, oh, I like films and let's see what opportunities lie. And I mean, Tower was like that open hand that was like, hey.
I feel
So
you.
it was nice.
They rescued me too.
Cool, man.
I think that about wraps it up.
If you guys have any questions, guys, make sure to comment on this. Either if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook,
or listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Yeah,
leave
we're
a
on
5-star
every
review.
major podcast platform. And if you're watching the video of this,
Leave a 5-star review.
Yeah, and let us know. Let us know what else you'd like to see on the TowerCast, man.
And then, I think you mentioned before, we're aiming to get more filmmakers here.
Yes,
aiming
we
to
are.
get more stories here.
Yep.
We're finishing up the Tower 20, but this is our nice way of kind of
introducing the
podcast and kind of getting a feel for things.
Yep.
But I think we got a good momentum.
Nice. For sure.
We'll get more stuff in the near future.
We've gotten a ton of comments on Juan as the host, that he's been an awesome host, and then Eric's like a chill co-host, laid back, kind of keeping the vibe going. So it's a good back and forth. So let us know, man. Anything else you got, Juan?
I would just say follow us, watch us, critique us, and just watch us grow, man. Because I really do feel like this is gonna be a really good year for Tower Productions. I really do. I know it will. I know it's gonna be. So
Tower invasion.
Tower invasion. We're invading your homes. I think that about wraps it up, you guys. Anything else y'all want to say?
Wrap it up, Dan.
Wrap it up.
That was the Tower Podcast, the Towering Podcast for the Towering Filmmakers. And we'll see you guys on the next one.